My 24th birthday became a day etched in infamy. I, a software engineer, walked into my apartment to find my 23-year-old girlfriend Abby in bed with my best friend Peter. We'd been inseparable since college, Peter and I. Roommates turned brothers, surviving academic hell and a disastrous Vegas trip. He was the charming, guitar-playing extrovert. I was the tech nerd who kept his laptop alive. Abby, a communications major with killer green eyes and an infectious laugh, swept me off my feet at a campus mixer. We clicked instantly. When I introduced Peter to Abby, I was just happy they got along, blind to the red flags now so glaringly obvious. We lived together, Peter, Abby, and I, in a cramped off-campus house during junior year. Peter, ever the supportive friend, was constantly inviting us to hang out. Looking back, his late-night meme text to Abby and his overly enthusiastic group invites were anything but innocent. After graduation, we all landed decent jobs. Me in software, Peter in marketing, and Abby at a PR firm. Our group activities continued, filled with movie nights and game nights. I saw it as friendship. He saw it as proximity to my girlfriend. Then there was Sloane, a stunning friend Peter had always secretly admired. Abby, though, couldn't stand her. She'd get possessive whenever Sloane was around, pulling me close and scrutinizing my gaze. I dismissed it as cute jealousy, a common trait, but the real red flags began piling up 6 months ago. Abby's phone became a fortress, her smiles at texts guarded. She and Peter developed inside jokes, their conversations hushed. Any questions from me were met with accusations of insecurity. I trusted them, despite my growing unease. Then came the late nights, Abby's client meetings, and Peter's vague networking events. They'd arrive separately to group gatherings, but always leave together. My friend Chris even spotted them at a restaurant, looking too comfortable. I rationalized it away as an innocent lunch. The week before my birthday, Abby suggested a break, her sudden desire for options baffling me after we discussed moving in together and getting a dog. A heated argument ensued, with her accusing me of stifling her. My mom, sensing my distress, suggested a special birthday dinner to reconnect with Abby. I planned a small gathering at my apartment, eager for a break from work and my distant girlfriend. I took a half day, bought drinks and snacks, and looked forward to setting up my new PlayStation 5. Peter's happy birthday man text as I drove home felt like a cruel joke in retrospect. His car was already there when I pulled into the complex. Music played softly from my apartment. Abby, I thought, must have finished her client meeting early to surprise me. A fleeting wave of guilt washed over me for my doubts. I unlocked the door, creeping in. The living room and kitchen were empty, but voices came from our bedroom. Then I heard it. Abby's distinct, flirtatious laugh, once reserved solely for me, now shared with Peter's low chuckle. The unmistakable sounds that followed sent my stomach plummeting. I pushed the door open. They were in my bed, on my birthday, making out. Abby scrambled to cover herself, but Peter just lay there, a smug grin plastered on his face. "Hey man, awkward timing," he chuckled, as if caught in a harmless prank. Abby looked annoyed. "Nick, it wasn't supposed to be this way. How long?" I cut her off. Peter, still naked, sat up. "About 3 months officially, but we've been vibing for way longer. We were actually going to surprise you with a cake, but you ruined it. Vibing." And then, Abby's brutal add-on, "You're pathetic in bed, by the way. All that gaming and no practice, huh?" They both laughed. That was it. Something in me snapped. I lunged, grabbed Peter's throat, and yanked him from the bed. He hit the floor hard. Before he could react, I punched him. 5 years of friendship, and that's what I get. Abby screamed, but I was already landing another blow. He was naked, disoriented, and I got in 2 more solid hits before shoving him back down. "That's for 5 years of friendship, bro." He spat. "You're f***ing crazy," he yelled, scrambling away. "What is wrong with you? People get cheated on, dude. Deal with it." I just looked at them both, nodded, and walked out, ignoring Abby's frantic calls. As I drove, every ignored sign, every potentially fake "I love you" flashed through my mind. I felt no sadness, just a hollow emptiness and a fierce, burning anger. My mind, instead of dwelling on heartbreak, immediately fixated on Peter's precious business deal. He wouldn't shut up about it, a 7-figure contract for his startup. I knew Peter, he cut corners, always worked an angle. He'd cheated on exams, borrowed money he never repaid. Instinct told me this deal wouldn't be clean. My current boss, who used to work at that tech company, had casually mentioned his former employer signing with some hotshot marketing startup. It clicked when Peter wouldn't stop bragging about being the youngest marketing lead on a seven-figure project, how the client specifically requested him, and how his boss trusted him implicitly. The client, my boss had also noted, was incredibly strict about ethics. I just needed proof. Then a crucial memory surfaced. 6 months earlier, Abby had complained about phone storage. I'd set up a shared family cloud account for us, showing her how to back up her photos. What she didn't realize, always scrolling through Instagram during my explanations, was that everything synced: messages, documents, app data. My key to a room full of evidence: technology, 1, cheaters, 0. I spent that night in my car outside a 24-hour Walmart scrolling through 3 months of their messages. The pet names, the clandestine planning, the jokes at my expense, screenshots of my text to her that they'd mocked. Hotel receipts Peter had forwarded with winky faces. By morning, Abby had called 28 times, Peter 15. Their panic was almost comical. Then I found it. Peter forwarding work emails to Abby using his company account for their affair. And within those emails, proof of his scams. He'd bragged about ripping off clients. These tech guys are such suckers. They never check the analytics and just bump their budget 30% for no reason. Vegas weekend, here we come. That professional development conference Abby attended? Their Vegas getaway, funded by Peter's fraud. What an absolute tool. Instead of answering their calls, I texted Peter, "Check your email." Then I sent screenshots of their messages, the cheating, the bragging about overcharging clients, the fake reports, to his boss, HR, and the big client. He literally incriminated himself in emails forwarded to my girlfriend. It was as if they wanted to get caught. I drove to a diner, ordered the biggest breakfast, and waited. Call it petty, but I wanted to be doing something normal as their worlds imploded. Peter's first text came as I was halfway through my pancakes. "What the fick did you do?" I kept eating. Messages poured in. "Answer your phone. This isn't funny. How the hell did you even get these?" Each more desperate than the last. I finished breakfast, found a coffee shop with Wi-Fi, and started looking for a new apartment. No way was I staying in that place. Within 48 hours, things escalated. I packed essentials from my old apartment while they were at work, taking one last look at the tainted memories. My phone then exploded. Peter had been called into an emergency meeting with HR, his boss, and client reps. The messages weren't just inappropriate. They showed him bragging about overcharging, cutting corners, and planning to exploit them before jumping ship. The client immediately pulled their massive contract. By 4 p.m., Peter was doing the cardboard box walk of shame. That corner office didn't work out after all, huh? I ignored his text and drove to my new place, feeling a fragile peace. They'd humiliated me. Now they were paying. I showered, slept for 12 hours. Abby was next. She started spamming me. "What did you do? Peter just got fired because of you. This is insane. You can't ruin someone's career over a stupid mistake." I didn't respond. I called my landlord, explained the relationship issues, and broke my lease. That evening, Abby's text resumed. "Nick, please, can we talk about this like adults? I know you're hurt, but this isn't the way to handle it." The irony of her demanding maturity after what they'd done made me laugh. Peter's messages were less subtle. "You had no right to bring my work into this. This was between us," as if betraying a friend was a private dispute. I replied with a single text, "Nothing was between us. You made sure of that." Then I blocked him. That night, a wasted Peter showed up at my new place, pounding on the door, screaming about his ruined life. My neighbor's Ring doorbell captured it all: his threats, his eventual collapse in the hallway until the cops arrived. Instant restraining order. Pro tip: don't threaten someone on camera. My neighbor, Frank, handled it. And the icing on the cake? That birthday cake I'd forgotten to cancel was delivered to my workplace. My clueless coworkers brought it out during our morning meeting. Instead of "Happy birthday to the best boyfriend ever," it read, "I'm leaving you for Peter, sorry." 10 engineers stared in stunned silence. My boss saw it, ended the meeting, and gave me the week off. As I left, Peter's former boss requested a LinkedIn meeting, impressed by my attention to detail and integrity. He wanted more information about Peter's client mismanagement. Peter, it turned out, had been falsifying reports for months, taking credit for work he barely touched. I agreed to the meeting, emphasizing I wasn't seeking vengeance, just sharing relevant information. Abby showed up at my new apartment crying that night, begging to work through this. I spoke through the Ring camera. Get away. I don't want to hear a thing. What we had was real. Peter was a mistake. Which time was the mistake, Abby? I asked. She cried harder. I didn't mean those things I said about you. I was just trying to impress Peter. I was stupid. You can impress him as much as you want. Don't come here again. I ended the call calm. 3 days prior, her tears would have shattered me. Now, they barely registered. A week after the explosion, I was still piecing things together. My meeting with Peter's ex-boss was eye-opening. Peter hadn't just scammed that one client. He'd been running a small-scale embezzlement operation for years. Kickbacks, inflated expenses, stealing ideas from junior employees. The company was pressing fraud charges. His youngest marketing lead title was just a cover for his shady dealings. He'd lectured me about lacking ambition while building a criminal empire. After his drunken meltdown, Peter went to Abby, expecting sympathy. She wouldn't let him in. According to Chris, Peter accused her of ruining his life. In retaliation, he sent screenshots of their conversations to her PR firm, violating their strict morality clause. The screenshot showed her discussing confidential client information and faking sick days for their trips. Abby was suspended, pending investigation. Karma, working overtime. These two idiots had imploded their own lives. But wait, it gets better. Remember Sloan? Peter's longtime crush, he never dared ask out. We ran into each other at the grocery store. News of my dramatic breakup had spread. Sloan had heard the full story. We talked for an hour, from avocados to the coffee shop next door. She'd always send something off about Abby's possessiveness. Abby, it turned out, had actively tried to keep me away from Sloan, fabricating stories about Sloan hitting on me. We exchanged numbers purely as friends, or so I told myself. My new apartment, closer to work and with better security, finally felt like home. No echoes of Abby. Then, out of nowhere, a call from Abby's mom, Carol. Nick, it's Carol, Abby's mother. I wanted to thank you for sending her documents and photos. That was very decent of you. Abby hadn't picked up her belongings when I broke the lease, so I'd mailed them to her parents out of respect. I also wanted to say how sorry I am about what happened. This is, well, very messed up. The most satisfying moment. Our friend group had planned a camping trip. Chris texted, "Trip canceled. Nobody wants to go with Peter after what he did. We've got your back." They tried creating a new chat without me, but everyone left that one too. Loyal friends still exist, apparently. And the strangest development. Peter's former company offered me a job. During their investigation, my attention to detail and integrity impressed them. The senior systems analyst role offered nearly double my current salary. Turning lemons into lemonade, my new boss wrote, "Your handling of a difficult personal situation showed character. A double win." It's been 3 months since the birthday disaster. Peter is facing criminal charges for fraud, embezzlement, and corporate espionage. He'd been selling proprietary marketing strategies and client lists to competitors for years. The FBI got involved. From marketing coordinator to potential inmate in less than a year, I took the job at his former company. It felt odd at first, but they've been amazing. Better pay, supportive environment, and I'm doing work I actually care about. My new boss even mentioned they've implemented strict background checks, calling it the Peter rule. My legacy, improving corporate America, one cheating ex-friend at a time. 2 weeks ago, I got a random text from Peter's mom, apologizing for her son, saying she'd always considered me a positive influence. That conversation was harder than expected. I'd spent holidays at their house, considered her a second mother. Losing Peter's family hurt almost as much as losing him. We met for coffee. He's getting professional help now. She said, "I'm not asking you to forgive him. I just wanted you to know that the boy you were friends with, he's still in there somewhere." I didn't have the heart to tell her I wasn't sure that boy had ever existed. Abby's PR firm put her on extended probation. She sent an 8-page handwritten apology letter last month. I used it as kindling for my new apartment's fireplace, very therapeutic. She claimed Peter had relentlessly pursued her, made her feel seen in ways I apparently didn't. Her childhood issues, her fear of commitment, her tendency to sabotage good things, a full psychological self-assessment that impressed her therapist but did nothing for me. My new apartment feels like home, filled with my style, not her live, laugh, love aesthetic. My gaming setup takes center stage, sci-fi figurines proudly displayed. It feels authentic. More me. The unexpected plot twist. Sloan. Casual texting evolved into coffee meetups, then actual hangouts. We've been seeing each other for about a month. It's honest, straightforward, no games. We're taking things slow, building on actual friendship. The fact that it drives Abby absolutely insane, according to mutual friends, is just a bonus I pretend not to enjoy. Speaking of Abby, she wouldn't be silent. The inevitable show happened last Saturday. Sloan and I were chilling on the couch watching a Marvel show when the doorbell rang at 10 p.m. I opened the door to Abby, looking like she'd been crying and drinking. She pushed past me. "So this is why you wouldn't answer my calls?" she yelled when she saw Sloan. "You're screwing her now?" Sloan, blindsided, moved to leave. "No, stay," I said, turning to Abby. "What are you doing here? How did you even find my address?" "Chris told me." She slurred. I had to see if the rumors were true. She pointed at Sloan. "You? You always planned this, didn't you? Even when I was with him." Sloan shook her head. "That's not true. You're nothing but a backstabbing bitch." Abby screamed. "And you?" I stepped between them. "That's enough. You need to leave now." "Oh, protecting her already." Abby laughed and sobbed. "You never protected me like that? You were always too busy with your stupid coding. Maybe because you were screwing my best friend behind my back then." She lunged at Sloan, but I caught her arm. "Touch her, and I'm calling the cops," I said quietly. "You're already on probation at work. Want to add assault charges?" That cut through her drunken rage. She yanked her arm away, tears streaming. "You ruined everything," she whispered. "You ruined Peter's life. You ruined my career." I walked to the door and opened it. Abby stumbled out, muttering curses as I closed the door. Sloan looked at me, her expression a mix of shock and concern. "Are you okay?" she asked softly. I nodded, a deep sigh escaping me. "Yeah, just wow. That was a lot." She walked over and gently took my hand. "You handled that incredibly well, Nick. You were so calm." Her touch was comforting, a stark contrast to the chaos Abby had just brought into my home. We spent the rest of the night talking, the Marvel show forgotten. The confrontation, as ugly as it was, felt like a final exorcism of the negativity that had clung to me for months. The next few weeks were surprisingly peaceful. Abby didn't show up again and her call stopped. I heard through the grapevine that her firm had indeed let her go, citing the morality clause and the damaging effect on their client relationships. She was apparently trying to get a job in a different city, a fresh start away from the wreckage she'd helped create. Peter, on the other hand, was deep in legal trouble. The FBI investigation had unearthed more serious crimes than just corporate espionage, including wire fraud and money laundering tied to a shell company he'd set up. His Cayman's dream was rapidly turning into a nightmare of court dates and legal fees. My parents, who had remained mostly silent throughout the initial fallout, finally reached out. My mom, in a rare moment of vulnerability, admitted she'd been naive about Peter and Abby. "We always liked Peter," she confessed, "and Abby was so charming. We never imagined they could do something like that, especially to you." There was no apology for her past dismissals, but the shift in her tone was palpable. They sent me a belated birthday gift, a brand new high-end gaming chair, something I'd always wanted but never splurged on. It was a small gesture, but it meant a lot. The camping trip with my friends was eventually rescheduled. It was cathartic. We sat around the campfire, and for the first time, I openly talked about the full extent of the betrayal, and they listened without judgment. Chris, true to his word, had completely cut ties with Peter and Abby. "Some friends just aren't worth it, man," he said, clapping me on the back. It cemented the fact that I had a solid support system, people who valued me for who I was, not what I could provide or how I compared to someone else. My new job at Peter's former company was everything I'd hoped for. The Peter rule became a running joke, a reminder of how thorough their new vetting process was. I excelled in the senior systems analyst role, my attention to detail now seen as a strength, not a quirk. The salary allowed me to pay off my student loans much faster than anticipated and even start saving for a down payment on a place of my own, something truly mine this time. Sloan and I continued to explore our connection. Our dates were simple: long walks in the park, cooking dinner together at my apartment, late night talks about everything and nothing. There was an ease, a genuine comfort that I hadn't realized was missing in my previous relationship. She was smart, funny, and authentically kind. We talked about our past, our vulnerabilities, and our hopes for the future. There was no pretense, no games. One evening, as we were sharing a pizza and laughing over a terrible movie, she looked at me with those direct, honest eyes and said, "You know, Nick, you're an incredibly strong person. What you went through, most people would have crumbled, but you turned it into something better." It was the kind of validation I had craved for years, not from a parent or a friend, but from someone who truly saw me. Life was no longer about proving myself or being enough. It was about building something genuine and lasting on my own terms. The sting of betrayal had faded, replaced by a quiet confidence. My apartment, once a symbol of betrayal, was now a sanctuary. My gaming setup, my sci-fi figurines, they weren't just possessions, they were markers of my reclaiming my space, my identity. And with Sloan by my side, taking things slow, the future felt genuinely bright, unburdened by the ghosts of a toxic past.